Oh, we're on. The red lights are on. We're on. We did it. Do you want to do it?
You do it.
Okay,
I'll do it.
You do it. You, come on, dude.
Oh shit! Sorry.
You did it by accident. That wasn't the real one. Can you edit out that sound so that this is the real one?
Right. We're ready.
Yeah, we're ready. Welcome to the Ride Companion Andorra World Cup special. I'm not here with Davey. No, he's moving house. I'm not here with our usual World Cup expert, DV. But I'm here with a worthy replacement, I would say. None other than, and actually regular guest on the Ride Companion.
Yeah, man.
Clay Porter, round of applause. Round of applause for Clay Porter. Clap yourself in and get it. Make sure it goes in the mic.
Is that rude to clap for yourself? I never.
No, I think it's good. I think it's good. I'd do because I'm super humble. I'd do like a 2-finger clap,
like a little lower palm.
Yeah, I think I've said this before, but I remember at school when they did like assemblies at school. Do you have assemblies?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
great time
we
to
had
skip class and
yeah. Well, we had no option for that. I imagine school for you is so different. School for me.
I went to a private school.
Did you?
Shout out mom and dad. Yeah, it was, I think, how I was able to get a jump start maybe in filmmaking.
You reckon? Yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember to this day, being junior year of high school, being in like whatever the video production class I took, and this girl that was in the class too did this edit, and she timed the edit to the music. And that's sparked my love for timing stuff for music.
Do you remember her name?
I don't, but I remember the moment of seeing her timeline and her teaching me how to put a marker on the waveform of
snare
stuff.
Or whatever, yeah.
Because I thought her project, I was like, oh my God, her project's so much better than all the other ones simply because she timed the edit. She used the music to help kind of drive. And that's really what, like, sorry to get into filmmaking stuff, but like music is the emotional tenure for the project. Like music drives emotion, and it's so important for that specific reason.
I love the idea of you remembering her name.
I don't remember her name though.
But I love the idea of it.
Okay.
You remembering her name.
Hope she's not watching.
Yeah, and then you go on Facebook and you look her up and you're like, oh, I remember her. And then you get in touch with her and then you end up really hitting it off, and then it turns into like a Hollywood love story, and then you two are like filmmaking
like
couple.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely
We've already derailed. Remember me talking about Andorra, huh?
Yeah. Sorry.
I think,
and I swore.
It's fine. It's not like a
use a Warner chicken. We watched Warner's vlog last night.
That was good.
I loved it.
It was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was amazing.
What did you love specifically about it?
Just how fun it is, and I felt like I was with you guys, and I liked when Warner swears a lot, which I like too.
Yeah.
But he used like just various, like a cow moo sound and then a chicken sound, but he didn't adjust the levels, so the moo sound was like fully peaking.
Can you now do a moo sound, and then Doug can edit the moo sound so we can swear freely? If you do a moo sound now,
cool.
Not to make the edit difficult or anything, but if you do a moo sound now, then we can put it then over your previous swearing.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Moo.
Clay Porter, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much. Right, welcome to the fucking show.
I'm stoked.
So, we're not prepared, dude. I was in the Malverns. I was in it's a black hole of signal.
Malvern's Classic 98, 97, Steve Pete on the jersey and Sprung. That's a legendary race.
Isn't it just?
It was in Sprung, dude.
Yeah, it was in Sprung.
That's what I still tell Neil Donahue to this day. I'm like, dude, you were in Sprung, bro.
It's a thing, isn't it?
Fuck yeah,
Sprung is a thing.
Dude, shout out Alex Rankin, man. He is such an artist, dude. What that dude has always been able to do with a pan and zoom camera is legendary. I've never seen anybody's work be so unique to themselves ever. Could you
even do it with the camera you use?
Yeah, I have
be like,
lenses that
I don't
can
understand
do that,
enough. Would it be all like?
It'd be that. Siegs has the trigger zoom, so I'd have to borrow his trigger zoom thing.
You can get a trigger zoom
Yeah,
for a red.
for those. Well, for those. Remember the Canon lenses we were using yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get trigger zooms for it.
Normally you do the like shouting out what you're working on at the end. Normally we do.
Okay,
but we should do a shout out now.
Yeah. Because
the trailer just came out.
The teaser.
Teaser.
And I say teaser because there'll be another trailer.
Okay,
yeah.
For Dumb Genius or Cap, we can now say what it's actually called.
Yeah, we could have said it before, man, but yeah.
What's it called?
Deathgrip 2.
Oh!
Testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. Take your position, please. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill.
Yeah, which is basically my personal vacation movies with my family because my friends are my family. And
that's nice.
That's what Deathgrip is.
That's really
Someone
nice.
was asking me about Deathgrip the other day and started talking sponsors and money and all this stuff. And I was like, whoa, pump the brakes. This is like an excuse for me to hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what worked with, that's kind of what I think made Deathgrip successful is that
You're right.
it's friends. I remember you had the best caption after the premiere. It was like, if you get passionate people in the same room that are all on the same wavelength, it's cool to see what they can make.
I couldn't have said something that good.
Oh, dude, you killed it, man.
Really? I came up
Brent
with
and I
one
were on
liner
the
that you
train
remembered.
after the premiere, and we were talking about how good your caption was.
Really?
Yeah.
My captions on Instagram, I think, have fallen off a bit. I think I need to work on them a bit more.
I think they're great.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, bro.
Well, I'm going to do one soon. I'm probably going to do Clay Porter Loves Burritos because
Yep.
it's pretty much the only.
That's a
caption I do.
classic.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we've both got valid reasons why we didn't watch. I did actually watch the race, but afterwards, which doesn't feel like you're watching it.
Yeah.
Like live is, even from home, live is important for me. I don't know
Sick.
why. Why?
Because it's live, man. It's
What-
the
yeah, but
truth.
what is that about it? What?
It's just like it's something that the audience realizes there's no it's a heightened level of authenticity when things are live.
And it's not the same even if you don't know the results. It's not the same. Just the fact. How weird is that it changes your perception of something, that just because you know it's not going on there and then at that exact time, it's somehow already happened.
It's like the same as in like documentary filmmaking. Like the best documentaries are all visual evidence. Like talking head interviews are like just poison to the audience's perception of, sometimes they're necessary. Obviously you don't have a camera rolling, but that's what like Drive to Survive and all these amazing kind of sports docs are doing, is that it's like, yeah, there's talking head interviews, but those are only used to support the visual evidence that was captured. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm a big storytelling nerd, and I love like the process of seeing how you can mix these, just how you can make amazing stuff with just someone being at the right place in the right time.
Yeah.
That's documentary filmmaking in a nutshell.
There you go.
Good documentary filmmaking.
But we both missed the story in this event. The story that we're talking about, Andorra World Cup, we both missed.
Yeah, I was, it was sick. I was riding, I can't say it, but what is it? Dovey, sorry. It just is.
It is spelt weird. It's
Very weird.
D-Y-F-I.
Yeah.
I want to call it Diffie.
Dan's Mountain.
How would you? Dan's Mountain.
Yeah.
See who you're riding with?
Dan Atherton owns a mountain, everybody.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Dan Atherton is like my favorite person on planet Earth.
Yeah.
My mom actually, on Instagram, my mom has Instagram, which is crazy. But
What's her tag?
Patience Porter. I love my mom.
You actually put it in. Can you bleep it out with the moo?
What? But why? What if?
Well, she'll get inundated with friend requests and stuff. You don't want that.
She'll
do
be
you?
thrilled. If Olly Wilkins followed my mom on Instagram, that
I'm
would
gonna
make
follow
her
her
day.
right now.
Please, dude.
But we're still going to move it out. You don't want everyone following your mum, do you, dude? I don't want that.
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
Yeah.
Does she mind? It's not about you.
I think she'd be thrilled.
Really?
Yeah, if Olly Wilkins followed my
I'm
mom.
going to follow her right now.
Yeah. Have you haven't met my parents ever?
No, never.
Stolf and Bean have. Oh.
That's a good two people to meet.
Yeah. They came for thanks. No, it's Jesus. There's yeah.
That's not your mum. Okay, we'll work it out later on. Yeah.
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 Chopped on, innit?
Yeah, job done. So
Should we talk about the most British things ever, in my opinion?
Please. It's not on my list of things that we were going to talk about, but I really want to talk about.
So the most British things ever are Henry the Hoover vacuum cleaners,
valid,
high-vis jackets, and gates. Even last night when we're filming Surrey Hills, like the gates are like
gates.
I could open and close that gate all day. They're so well made.
All right. So do I have to come back with why I think that I don't have anything for Henry the Hoover? I think that's just something that's just
that obviously is the most British thing ever.
Yeah.
It's too much time spent hanging out in North Wales with the Athertons, and I just drive through these tiny towns, and it's like there's nothing there, but then there's just some like large business with a like large storefront. What do you call it? Display window, maybe?
Yeah.
There's just Henry sitting in there. That's all they sell.
Lone Henry in the middle.
Yeah.
You got to clean up if you're. Yeah, I'm trying to think of British reasons why Henry the Hoover would be. I think someone just came up with the idea and ran with it, and since then it's been the best Hoover.
Dude, they're killing it. They're everywhere.
Other than the Works Hoover, that's right, Works Hoover that we use actually here in the studio. It runs off a battery. It's fantastic. It's not a Henry the Hoover. It's a Works Hoover. That's right.
Got it.
Okay, so hoovering, I don't have anything for. Gates, I reckon it's because I reckon everyone's so weird about their property. Like defined property lines are such a thing. I think like it's way more normal in America or places with more space to not have like fences and gates.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Totally. And I'm from San Francisco in the city, so gates. And you saw how I don't like chickens. I learned that yesterday morning when
Can I tell that story?
Yeah, it's fine.
Can I tell it? Can I like embellish it?
Please. No sense in the truth in a good story, which is a Jared Graves quote.
It's gonna be
Jared Graves quote.
It's gonna be true though. I'm not gonna make it.
I just don't like chickens, man. Any farm animals with wings.
Right. So me and Georgie, we thought we're gonna make the perfect breakfast for Clay. Like I want it to be a British experience beyond Henry Hoover's high visibility jackets and gates. I want it to be like our version of British countryside, right?
Johnny's breakfast burritos.
So we've got you've always taken me to Johnny's, which I really appreciate. I really enjoyed that. That's SoCal. It's really it's always been a really nice cultural tour when I've come to see you.
Nice.
So I wanted to return the favour. So we've got eggs from the garden, right? We've made the breakfast that we have: eggs, mushrooms, avocado. That was like a bit of a sort of like
I'm from California.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then we went in the garden and we sat on the table and chairs.
Yep.
And we let the chickens out and they roam freely. So they've provided us the breakfast and then they roam freely around us. It was meant to be a nice experience. It's something that we do, and sometimes I think, I'm in a movie. I'm in a movie of my own life. Clay's movie, it would have been more of a nightmare, wouldn't it? And we didn't realise that. First of all, he doesn't like mushrooms. Avocados in England are not, whatever they ship them from California to the UK in, it's not good. They're not good avocados. No. Not good avocados in England. And chickens, it would seem, make you retch.
Yeah, I learned that yesterday. I just can't deal with like the twitchiness of them and the fact that like if you grab them, they have these powerful wings that could come out, and it just doesn't. I don't know, man. I don't like.
It really got you, didn't it? I think it's really common. People don't like birds, fluttery birds. The idea of a bird being indoors. My mum doesn't like that.
Yeah.
Like when you ever have like a bird goes into your house and it causes just mayhem, just a pigeon or whatever, like a London pigeon?
I remember in middle school, a bird flew into the school because the window was open, and then the birds. That's when I learned birds don't know what a window is. And I remember I'm like 5. This is like really early first memories of life, and the bird flew straight into the glass and died, and I was like 5 years old in
You think that's
kindergarten.
why you didn't like the chickens the other day?
I just felt bad for the little bird. It just died
So
right
you
in
do
front
have
of me.
empathy towards birds. It didn't
Definitely.
seem when we were having breakfast. I felt that you were quite aggressive towards the chickens at times when you weren't.
I felt
retching.
they were
like you
more aggressive towards me, and I was trying to enjoy my breakfast.
Did you?
Yeah. I just...
Mate, I'm
man.
sorry for the experience. It really backfired. It wasn't. It wasn't what I intended it to be. I hope we can move on from it. I know next time not to. Mushrooms, no.
Yeah.
Avocado, don't bother unless it's a good one. And the chickens, just keep them in the pen.
Yeah.
They don't need to be around.
Yeah. Like you guys willfully grabbing chickens and pick them up freaks me out. There was
It'd be weird if I was unwillfully grabbing them. Just grabbing in the air and I got one.
Well, you seem pretty comfortable around them.
I'm really comfortable around chickens.
Yeah. Roop did Rupert Walker, one of my best buds. Love you, Roop. He did a really cool edit with Brendan Howie like a couple years ago. This Coleman saw it, and there's a shot of Brendan Howie picking up chickens in it. And even that shot, I didn't retch, but it was I was just like, dude, Howie's gnarly, picks up chickens. Yeah. Sick
yeah, it's
edit.
quite gnarly. It's quite a hard thing to get your head around because they do flap around a bit. You just have to, if you put your hands over their wings, it's amazing how unpowerful their wings really are. And you can pick them up, and actually, I think
they would sense my nervousness. And
dude,
the things on top of their head, that red kind of mohawk looking thing, cone, that's
mohawk, it's too much. Look, I think you and chickens could get along, and I think it's your love of filmmaking actually that would possibly bring you and chickens close together, because if you pick them up with your hands on their wings, they're actually nature's gimbal. You can move the body around, the head stays in exactly the same spot.
Whack a GoPro on the top.
Exactly,
chop done.
Exactly.
Hyper
job done.
smooth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, more chicken talk after the break. Oh, I hate mosquitoes, dude.
Is that what that is, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see it? I can't get it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I hate worse than I hate more than mosquitoes? Do you know what I hate?
Tongue twister?
Yeah, tongue twisters I hate.
Yeah.
Bike theft.
Worst thing ever. I hate bike theft too, man. But thankfully, we're going to help the companionship out by talking to him a little bit about LAKA.
Oh.
Mate, LAKA have been with us for a minute as well, man. And honestly, they are a really lovely company that are doing bike insurance different. They're doing it a different way, right? I'm going to tell you a little bit about what they're doing and what it means to be backed by LAKA, okay? So it's insurance flipped. They won't charge you a fixed sum. Instead, they calculate your monthly contributions up to a max capped amount based on the collective's claims, okay? It's the 80-20 rule.
Okay.
80% of your money goes straight back into the collective, fixing, replacing, helping, whatever. And the other 20% helps keeps LAKA's wheels spinning. It's pack mentality. Being part of LAKA means committing to look after yourself and your stuff for the sake of the group. Think team first, okay?
I like that.
LAKA have got your back. When shit hits the fan, we've got you, okay? They've got you. Claims are handled by experts and usually agreed within a day with no depreciation or excess. And I've heard some pretty wild stories from the companionship, mate, that have used this, that have got like good money back for the bike that's been stolen, whether it's a few years old or even kit, helmets, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I guess I've got bad experience with insurers in the past trying not to pay, whereas LAKA, because of the way it's put together, it's not like that. Huh?
It's not like that at all. And they've got real people, real bikers, real cyclists that are going to help you get your stuff sorted. And
what's the average turnaround time, Davey?
Mate, it's just a couple of days. I think it's 1 day actually, a lot of the time. That's the average. It's going to be a day, okay? I know even if like you've lost your bike in transit, they're going to try and get your replacement really quick. So yeah.
I've got another question.
Please.
Is it just bikes, or can you insure your equipment? Because I've been thinking about insuring my helmet.
You should. you've got a nice helmet, you've got a Troily one, it's painted. You know, you want to get that thing insured, dude. So yeah, they do equipment, all sorts of stuff. You can insure almost anything.
Is it just in the UK?
No,
they cover you?
No. They insure you outside the UK, around Europe, riding. They can insure you at races. Yeah, man.
What, races too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Races
Where
too.
do I go? Where do I go?
Here's what you do, mate. All you got to do is head over to LAKA.co, okay?
Is that LAKA.co?
LAKA.co, okay? You're going to enter the code RIDECOMPANION30, all in capitals. What is it?
Is it Ride Companion and then 30 and it's all in capitals? Is that the numbers 30?
Yes,
3
0, same as our age.
Yeah, okay.
3 0, it's easy one to
yeah,
remember.
Yeah,
Ride Companion 30, and that's going to give you a whopping 30 days free bicycle or kit insurance. Okay?
It could happen whenever. It could happen in the next 30 days. So that would be
the way things are going around where, you know, the UK, it can happen at any moment.
Yeah.
All right? And it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that as I'm getting older. It's better to actually have your ducks in line rather than be like on the back foot when you get a little bit, you know, something gets stolen, you got to try and figure it out. So, yeah, LAKA.co, Ride Companion 30, and thank you, LAKA, for looking after the companionship.
Thanks, LAKA.
Thanks, LAKA.
We're not doing chicken talk. We are talking about how you are. Yeah, you are a British American. Like, I just feel like maybe, I don't know.
I've grown to love the UK, man.
Yeah.
For real.
Would you move in?
If I could live near you guys, yeah.
What is it that would make you not move here? Just to focus really on the negatives.
If you guys didn't live here.
Okay, yeah, I like that, yeah.
I think we could all live in, like, I don't know, Antarctica and still have a good time.
I actually do agree.
Yeah.
But I think the reality of moving, I've thought about it loads, like moving somewhere. If you could move all of the people that
Would you say it's moving somewhere?
Like, that's good. We could use that as well as one of the swearing ones.
Oh, man.
Moving. That'd be good, yeah.
Andorra.
Yeah, Andorra. We could all move to Andorra.
We could all move to Andorra.
I actually didn't want to move onto Andorra just yet. I wanted to, because I feel like I have to.
Davey's not here because he's moving.
Nice. All the moving puns, dude.
Oh, man. I'm so sorry for the tanking of views on the Ride Companion channel.
Not at all. Right. High-vis jackets. Before we move on to the race, high-vis jackets. What do people wear in America then? Do they drape themselves in stars and stripes?
They don't have like there's not like high-vis jacket only stores, which there are here. Like there's like you go to like Home Depot or something and it's like they sell other products too.
What do road workers wear?
Probably a high-vis jacket. They just don't purchase them from a high-vis.
Henry the Hoover store.
Well, no, they just don't get them from a high-vis jacket store. Like near Josh's house, dude, Manchester, they're everywhere, bro.
Really, yeah.
I honestly think it's because of the weather. There's not as much sun as the U.S., so it's more of a necessity to have. Yeah, what? The United States. Yeah, Brits love calling the U.S. America.
It's so big though. There's places way less sun, surely, in America. Like I don't know, Alaska.
I've never been to Alaska, but there's not going to be a high-vis only store.
I just dropped American knowledge on you, and you had nothing for me.
Correct.
I bet in Alaska they all wear high-vis.
Have you been to Alaska?
Never.
Okay.
But I think we could all move there.
Move. Yeah, we could.
We could all move to Alaska, I reckon.
I'm down, dude. Just anywhere where there's good friends, man.
Alaska should be a tax haven. Does America have a tax haven like Monaco? Andorra is a tax haven.
Well,
See how I brought it back?
Oh man, I can't deal with America. All the tax laws are state by state. Same with the medical marijuana laws,
which is the Monaco of America. Then
contradictory thing ever, because like federally, which means all of the states, marijuana is illegal, but in many states now it's legal, which doesn't make sense. But
like the cool uncle states.
You know what else doesn't make sense to me to this day? And we're now shifting into the race talk, which is good. But
brilliant.
How come England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland are they countries? Or then if they're countries, what is Great Britain? And how come like Steve Pete, right? How come then like there's not like a Scottish national team and an English national team and a Wales national team and a Northern Ireland national team.
You sat next to the wrong person to ask. I'm going to be honest. I've
but
come
you're
under
British,
fire lately. I don't even know what I am.
But no one knows the answer to that.
But it's provocative.
But Rach used to get bummed because I said, well, she didn't really get bummed. I'm tripping. It was more I bummed Rach didn't want to chat with me about this stupid shit. But yeah, like, is England a state within the UK, within the United Kingdom? Province?
We have counties.
Yeah, okay, we have counties too.
Yeah, we have counties, and then we have different. It's called. I think I just call them places.
I just feel bad because it was so hard to make the British national team back in the day, and yeah, it's I didn't get it, you know.
I don't.
It's not
really
like a North
it.
American national team, but anyways, we're getting off topic. I still don't.
People
understand.
love it. No, but people love the lines. People love the invisible lines in like even counties. People kick off. If I say I'm riding somewhere, like I said, I was riding somewhere in the Surrey Hills, and it was what, Hampshire or something. I can't remember where. It was like Rogate. I get called out because I say it's in the Surrey Hills. I don't know. It's a hill near Surrey. Who cares?
Dude.
They're all the same stuff. Like there's no line. If we did lines on the floor the whole time, I think it would be bad. I think you would then have teams, and then people would have battles between counties. And you'd have Hampshire versus Surrey, one of the wettest fights you could possibly have. That'd be pathetic.
Bring your rain cover for that shoot.
Oh man, it would be. Yeah, true.
Am I right?
Yeah, you're right, dude. You're right. So, first of all, with Andorra, how many times have you been to Andorra?
I've been to Andorra twice for the race in 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
And then I was pretty much at Andorra 2022 shooting Andreu for
Nice.
Jeremy Grant's TGR film, which I worked on, which was Andreu was the best.
Yeah.
I had such a good time. But anyways, we shot some downhill riding, and I think it was still in Spain, but Andrea was saying if we drove like 15 minutes up the road.
Over another invisible line.
Yeah.
Taxes are different now, though.
Whew. Ask Greg Minnaar if you know what I'm saying.
So,
Love you, Greg.
so yeah, Andorra, the race was plagued by weather to a point where what I wanted to get into was the safety chat. So obviously they ditched semis, which is
I had never seen. I guess I shot all the World Cups 2006, 2012, right, and then have been to a couple since. But I was blown away when the other day we're all at Duffy riding, and there was that Instagram thing that everybody posts that was like weather delays. We might cancel the race. I'm like, dude, it's a mountain bike race. Like it's I don't know. It's on a mountain, and
I feel exactly the same way. Like
I thought there was going to be like a tornado coming through based on what I saw.
Yeah, and I think there's just this sort of like finger pointing, which people get right on board with. But I went both ways with this because actually a lot of it is about. So yeah, I fully agree. A mountain bike race is whatever. You have to ride down the hill in whatever conditions it is, and it's your responsibility to, like yeah, the weather is gonna slow down your run if it's bad, or it's gonna speed it up if it's not.
Yeah.
But I think the big considerations were that they couldn't get people out airlifting.
Yeah, which is fair enough. Like
that. But how annoying is it? Like that then it turns into like some sort of safety chat, but that's the safety aspect, not it's not safe to ride down the hill, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, if you can't airlift somebody out, which makes like I'm all for obviously rider safety.
So I think that's what it was.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
Sick clip of there's like a drone shot of Loic's race run that I saw on Instagram, and this drift that he does was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool indeed. I can't remember who else.
Do you know the clip I'm talking about?
I know exactly the clip you're talking about, yeah. It was one of the highlights that I think Cathro pointed out, I believe.
Oh, no way. Cool.
Yeah.
Shout out Ben Cathro too, man. The videos he's doing, like explaining the race, are like brilliant, dude. It's
proper journalism, aren't they?
Yeah. It really is. And it's like he just is it's so informative. Like I learned so much watching those videos, and they're
absolutely,
like really well. It's so much valuable information for the viewer. They're amazing.
100%. And like if you even just sit here and you try and go through all of the news articles, you wouldn't be able to do the job that he does from being there and from his angle where he actually understands everything
fully.
Like, yeah, it's really good, that sort of stuff, isn't it? And like maybe you could argue it's been lacking a bit recently, I feel like. Yeah, kind of that angle, really. So
Ben Cathrow's a really good example of like to be, in my opinion, successful, you need to make the content that speaks for you first and foremost, and then you hope that an audience responds to what you like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't get ahead, or you don't get. You need to make things that you think people like and hope that you find an audience. You know, as much as I loved like Alex Rankin's shit back in the day, and tried very hard to make Alex Rankin looking stuff myself, it was always like that was his style, and I knew that I needed to like find my own style. It was almost like Alex was doing his look so good that it was like, okay, I need to, if I'm gonna be successful shooting racing, I need to do the opposite of what he's doing and interview people and kind of do all that stuff.
Do you think
I think Alex Rankin is maybe the most uniquely talented filmmaker I've ever seen.
Rad.
It's cool.
Do you think these days...
It blows my mind, dude. I watched Sprung 5 the other day on YouTube.
Did
and
you?
It comes out in 2001. And I was just like, oh my God, the art direction and kind of like just vibe of those films are still to this day, like, I think it's better art direction than anything out now. Like the titles in Sprung 5 and all that stuff. And yeah.
So that was 2001.
Yeah, I think I know they filmed it in 2001 and maybe it came out early 2002.
What are your list of things that have changed since 2001 or even since 2006 when you started traveling around the entire World Cup?
Well, it was back in the day, it was just me and Alex filming all the races, and now it's and I don't think that's a mountain bike thing. I think that's just content and technology in general. It's so much more accessible. And you can get guys like Ben Cathro, who now have the tools to communicate their vision of what they think is cool, you know?
So what
they think is informative and useful to an audience.
So in terms of original content, what do you think was better when there was less of it, or now that there's more of it because it's way easier to access and to put out, or when there was less of it, were you more encouraged to do something different, or now that there's more competition, are you more encouraged to do something different? Like, how does it compare in that respect?
I think it's better now.
Okay.
Yeah, as much as I want to live in the past, and like I obviously loved like the feeling of me waiting for the new Earth to come out was like the day I got to see Earth. Like I can probably remember where I was when I saw each Earth video for the first time. They were that impactful for me. And I can't remember like that shit about my own work.
No, and I guess content now comes out every race.
Yeah.
And you're not waiting for each team to release their video as much as you were waiting for that.
Yeah, I mean, but I do think, the difference from 2006 when I went to all the World Cups for the first time and now is just, it's just a bigger sport.
Yeah.
It's cool to see how successful mountain biking is, and it's not just like a race thing, but like you go on like Semenuk's Instagram after he drops an edit and you look at the comments and it's like the top 3 of BMX Park are commenting on Semenuk's stuff, which like if you would have told me that in 2006, I'm like, I always joke with Semenuk and R-Dog, like, when did we get cool?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
For real, dude.
Well, I couldn't say I've ever been cool, but...
Well, yeah, I
you
agree on
that,
but...
Yeah.
With both of us, dude. Yeah. But I think the sport has gotten more professional. I think it's gotten more professional, and it's I don't know how to explain it, man. I think the live feed, Freecaster, and then Rebel TV and stuff like really made definitive, used to the World Cups were just like you wait till Dirt Mag comes out and you see the results, which is insane to think about that. But yeah, there's a lot of content. I do think the teams, like having a team video is just like, I don't know if many teams still do it, but there was a point maybe 5 years ago where like every team has a videographer, and there were so many videos that Pink Bike, just when they do the news story, it's like, here are all the team videos in one story. Like they don't even make them individual. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's too easy to be like it's too easy to be like a, I don't know what you just said. You just said a good way, like a, I don't know, like
that's a good example.
Is better.
Yeah, or seeing mountain biking is really guilty of somebody does something and then everybody else copies it and wants their own, where that's what I dig about Cathro's stuff. It's so unique to him. Yeah. He's the only one making videos like that. Kind of in the same way Alex Rankin was the only one making his visual, it's completely, we're talking about like a storytelling kind of, Cathro's stuff is meant to educate an audience and provide them with. He's good at, how do I say this? He's good at understanding an audience's comprehension.
Yeah, it's under a microscope, isn't it? He's literally talking line choice, real specific things. Rankin was like gathering a whole event and making you feel like you were there, or like you get what it was like.
Yeah, and Rankin was just like gathering like shots that were just filled with energy in every frame, and that's why he was so brilliant. He took these like basic DV cameras and made this, he utilized that technology to the max, know, and I think it's really easy with GoPros and iPhones and Red cameras to think, you need this or that to make good stuff, and really you need an iPhone, and that's it,
So I probably am getting this wrong, but in my head it's like, now we get bits of content that are like under a microscope because they need to communicate so much in such a small amount of time, and everyone's attention spans are like
totally.
In between there was like Dirt TV, Vital Raw.
Yeah, totally.
That was sort of like an in between, wasn't it?
For sure. And all that's, I mean, it's the Vital Raws are like one of the highlights of a World Cup weekend. Like seeing, like.
But you'd fight for a place in it, and when you got it, it was big news. I remember Bernard had a year. We call it the year of the Suey. He would literally suicide any time his wheels left the ground. He would do a suicide no-hander,
and that would make it.
Yeah, and it would be like it was a conscious decision. He was like trying to get airtime on these like weird, I guess you could call them vlogs, raw.
For sure.
Raw footage vlogs.
Totally.
Dude, I used to have there's a Welsh Dragon series.
Oh yeah.
I used to get the VHS.
It was
hours long, and it was just raw footage of everyone.
Yeah.
And like you could tell the filmer would just move down the hill, different spots, and it was just every rider going through, and I'd watch it. That's how into biking I was. I'd just watch all of these people at a race I wasn't at, riding down a muddy Welsh hill. I'd be like,
I was the same, dude. I remember being in high school, and like there was this dude Jeremiah Dean, who was a photographer, and he painted helmets for a while, like Dylan Dean Designs. You remember that?
Yeah, I don't. But yeah.
Anyways, it was more like, I think he more painted helmets for more like the Norba crowd and stuff. Right. But he was a photographer, and I remember finding. This is again, it's crazy me remembering like where I was. I can tell you, I was in the English room in my high school, and I found out that he would upload all of his photos. So you could be like Deer Valley 2001 Norba and look at every single photo, and I would just look at every single one, and I was, man, it makes sense. Like I don't really like watch YouTube vlogs or anything like that. More just because I don't have time, but
I won't take that personally, but yeah.
Warner's vlog, man, so good. But it makes sense why all that stuff is so successful.
Yeah, for sure. It is weird how
if I was 15 again, I would be watching every single Matt Jones vlog right when they came up, and
dude, 100%.
But I also like a lot of people like think, and I used to like when all the vlog stuff took off, I definitely had the attitude of like, it's so lame, it's people filming themselves, blah blah blah, it's so kooky, blah blah blah. But like the rad thing about vlogs and social media is that it's taken out the need for an editorial middleman, and it's given power to the athletes themselves. And like Bernard's a great example of that, like where he does his vlogs or whatever, but it's taken out the need to have a Pink Bike or a Vital to distribute your work.
Yeah, it's broadened it. It's weird though, because there's always a good and a bad
but
about
that's
everything. So
anything.
it's like if everyone just did a vlog, imagine how if there wasn't any
Anything
overview
else.
and it was just you had to watch everyone's vlogs.
Yeah.
It would be just mind numbing, wouldn't it? Or it'd be just too much. It would be too much. If every
Maybe,
single
but
World Cup
like-
rider produced I mean, Bernard goes like 40 minutes long.
I know. I saw it when we were watching Warner's last night. I was like, Jesus, he's made a vlog. Like making something that's 35 minutes takes me like 2 years.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Yeah.
Right. But again, it's like if you look at it through the lens of a 15-year-old kid just getting in the sport, it's incredible.
I just think you need both.
Yeah, you do
And
need
there's-
both.
yeah. And it has changed. And I do think it is good that riders can, because then it means you're not just, you're in control of your destiny, I guess. rather
Exactly.
than
It's taking out the middleman. It's sick.
Yeah. Because I do remember when I was younger being like, you knew someone at one magazine, so they were interested in you and they liked you and they were interested in your riding, so they would put pictures of you in there. But then at another magazine, it would be,
Yeah,
you wouldn't get
there
one
was like
thing,
an
and
editorial source controlling
yeah.
like kind of the there was an editorial source controlling the basically who was cool and who wasn't.
Yeah.
And they had that power.
And he was
now,
called Mike Rose.
Yeah. And Mike Rose we're very lucky that we had somebody with that level of taste
Yeah.
involved in our sport. You know, there's a couple people over the years that really, like, if you look back on it, changed for my generation, the sport, and Alex Rankin and Mike Rose are pretty much at the top of that list, where they were the first people when I was getting into mountain biking that I was like, oh my God, these guys are trying to make mountain biking cool and different. And there was like an arty edge to it. And it really, Dirt Magazine, again, I can remember exactly where and when I was and what issue when I first saw Dirt Magazine. I was at the Barnes & Noble in San Rafael, California, which is in Marin, just north of San Francisco. And it was the issue with Mike King on the cover going around a BMX track, 2002. And Pete Demos was the photographer, who I've never met, but he was the Haro photographer. And I opened it up and it was like everything I always thought the sport could be in one magazine. It was like, it was riding, it was art, it was, they had an opinion about things. It was, it was amazing. Like Dirt Magazine, I don't want to sound too dramatic, but it changed my life, dude.
Opinion's quite important. I think it's something that's like,
and that's what I think a lot of you know who, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but Matt Begg and Hunter Paul, these Matt Begg, sick dirt jumper.
When does the
Hunter
trend
Paul,
end?
Yeah, so they made this 2-year project that Hunter Paul made, who I'm incredibly enamored by in terms of like his talent and his drive to make things that are unique to him, you know. And I don't know, you know, the film is very kind of anti-vlog, anti-YouTube, which maybe I don't agree 100% with their stance, but they have an opinion, and that's what I love about it. You know, like I'm so enamored with skateboarding and those kind of, you know, board sports because they're so opinionated and it's sick. It's so interesting. Like they're so unapologetic of calling out stuff. And I think mountain bikers are so, and I'm guilty of this too. Like, oh, we'll, you know,
dude,
like,
absolutely. I'm really guilty.
So,
I really like.
Yeah. But everybody watching this who hasn't seen Where the Trend End, please support those guys, because it is it inspired me so much, that film, and I was blown away by how much it just gave me energy seeing those guys.
What's it
work.
available on? 'Cause it's not even normal.
Yeah, it's I believe whenthetrendends.com, and you buy it. I bought a t-shirt too, XL, or maybe I bought double XL, which is a little bit too big, but yeah, I'm gotta keep it baggy, you know. that film, I think the last time I was that inspired seeing mountain bike content was when I
Vlog.
when Oda vlog for sure.
Vlog,
Yeah. But no, when I first saw Rupert Walker's work with Semenuk, and I was like, oh my God, this dude I have to become best friends with this dude because it was like meeting me.
Yeah.
It was sick. And now Rupert and I are best friends, and I try to work with him on everything, and he's amazing. And
Are there any other standouts on the World Cup circuit?
well, yeah, I keep talking about stuff that's not. I've become a free rider, bro. When did that happen? Yeah, I used to be racer, and now I'm Mr. Freeride. But
A free racer.
but yeah, around World Cup stuff, what is inspiring me?
I've got one.
Yeah.
Sleeper.
Yes. Very good answer.
And a lot of these come out, a lot of his just like short clips. I just love them. I just think they make the sport.
For sure.
Like anything that makes it cool is...
Anything that's like Sleeper's a really good
Which
example.
is what it is.
And
it's always cool, but when you watch something and it doesn't convey what... I think they do a really good job of conveying actually what it's like.
And they're kind of the only ones really that are like maybe doing what I was trying to do with 3-minute gaps, and that's like make something about the races that's more than just like here's the I got 7th place, blah blah blah. It's I think they have a lot to learn in terms of like polishing up their work and stuff, but that'll come with time, dude. It's like they'll get technically better at focus pulling and composition and lighting and all this stuff, and that'll come with time. But I love that there's kids that are a new generation that are filming World Cups and trying to make stuff that's more than just some watered down version of the live feed, It's really cool too. They did that. They did the Reese Wilson doc, and then they did that Amory piece, and they're really the only ones that I've seen since I've been away from mountain biking that are actively pursuing long form content that's not just the race. They're going to Reese's house and shooting him and going to the Amory thing was pretty sick, man. That came out recently.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a question for you because
hit me.
Right, I love films, documentaries, whatever, long form stuff. Long form as in over 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I have noticed, however, that now my attention span, even though I'm aware of it and I love long form stuff, my attention span is awful, and I do end up looking at my rectangle. Does this affect you as someone who's like completely aware of it and passionate about filmmaking? Have you noticed any change?
Well, I mean, maybe in an ideal world, like no one would have an iPhone when they watch long form stuff, but that's like just living in the past. You know what I mean? Like I can't. You have to, as a creative and a storyteller, adapt with technology, and if you don't, you're going to be left behind.
Do you remember when we were younger, video piracy? Do you remember how much people would like police it? There was like the adverts before every film. Video piracy is a crime.
Everybody's just giving up. Yeah.
Surely it must be an impossible one to police these days. It's like the war on drugs.
Yeah.
It must be quite
yeah, exactly.
big loss nowadays, right? You can just be like
for
filming
sure
from the... And
I've kind of like, I don't know, I just don't care. Like I like making things, dude.
Yeah.
I don't definitely I'll check, like I read all the comments on the Deathgrip 2 teaser. But I get energy in life by making things. And I just hope that people like it at the end of the day. Does that make, I don't know if I'm a little off topic, but I think, and that's what I see about Sleeper Co. They like making this stuff, and it's not just like showing up and filming the reel and that's, I like people that have a vision for where they want the sport to go.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Sleeper Co. and like Hunter Paul and that project. Again, I don't agree with, maybe I more or less do agree with their stance on vlogs, but
yeah, absolutely.
I just am like, this is awesome. There are these kids that are like have an opinion and they're
Care
not
enough.
scared to like say their opinion on the sport. And I think that's healthy. If there's, you know, it's boring when everybody thinks the same thing. That's
Yeah. Right, we're about to go to an ad break, but after the ad break, we're going to talk about results, and we're going to have to really make sure that we get
stay on
everything right, because otherwise, MTB Batman, Sven Martin will come and get us.
Yeah.
And I know that you're going to be sure to come correct for MTB Batman. Make sure he's got nothing on
Definitely.
you. Stay
Yeah,
sucker free.
can-
You're not going to.
I really do think you guys should do something where you quiz Sven and I on World Cup
I'd really
knowledge.
like to. I'd
And
love to.
Sven dog, I'm taking you down, bro.
Davey, I feel tired.
Oh,
It's like the world's getting on top of me at the minute.
is it
I feel stressed. I feel like
ugly? Oh, sorry.
I
Yeah.
do actually. Why'd you say? Yeah, I do. Anyway, I feel like little things like, I feel like
Pathetic.
my nails. A bit. Yeah, I feel a bit like
Useless.
someone's taken a saturation. They've just turned it down.
Yeah.
On life, on me.
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions on how I can pick myself up out of this?
I do, mate. I've got a great suggestion for you. And it's one of the reasons I started taking AG1. Okay?
What's that?
Well, let me tell you a little bit about it. Okay? So AG1 is a nutritional drink. Okay? It's got 75 different vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients.
Dude, that must take you so long to make if you have to get 75 different things, pipettes,
Yeah.
little bits of powder,
Yeah, loads of different
like
things.
leaves and stuff. How long does that take?
That must take
ages.
forever, but thankfully, AG1 have done all that hard work for you. So all you have to do is just open your tub in the morning,
Yeah.
put a scoop in, mix it with water. I like to go 50% water, scoop a little bit more water on top.
Okay, yeah.
Shake it up,
Yeah.
straight down the neck, and you're covered, man. You got all your like vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced
way.
ingredients, and it's going to probably alleviate a little bit of that stress, because it's nice to know that you've covered all of your nutritional bases
Yeah, the
before you
stress
head into
goes
the
down.
day.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah, yeah.
like you say, your nails are going to feel a little bit better. Your hair's going to start looking a little bit thicker. It probably can't make you better looking, but you can try. There's no harm.
Can
in,
it try? I can try.
There's no harm in giving it a shot, mate.
Is it better? Is it good for your gut?
It's fantastic for your gut. Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
what I need.
Yeah.
because Mine have been.
Exactly, mate. That little sicky feeling you feel
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to start going away. You're not
Oh,
going to feel as
please.
anxious. You're not going to feel as nervous.
Mate, is there anything that look? I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that mate. But you got any sort of like codes or offers? Or
I got a little
anything?
bit. I got something for you, mate. I got a little something
Have
for
you?
you. Yeah. So if a comprehensive solution is what you need,
It is.
yeah, for your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1 year supply of vitamin D3.
That's so
okay.
good because there's not much sun here, and I've got the saturation turned down. That's so good.
Exactly. Okay. And then you're going to get 5 free travel packs as well. So when
I
you're
travel?
on, you travel loads. It's a super easy little pack. Rip it off, dump it in some water, give it a shake, straight down your
Dude,
neck.
where do I go and what do I do?
Okay, you're going to go to drinkag1.com/ridecompanion.
Okay.
That's drinkag1.com/ridecompanion and check it out. You go there, it's going to do all the work for you. It's going to give you your vitamin D, it's going to give you your travel packs, and you're going to get on with your life feeling better than what
Better
you do
than
right now.
this.
Yeah, exactly. Better than this.
Anything can be better than this. Eh?
Exactly. Thanks, AG1.
Thanks, AG1.
I think vlogs are like masturbation and
Okay.
films are like sex.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So you're basically calling me a wanker.
Well, it's everybody wanks.
Dropping dimes.
Yes,
dude.
yes.
Wisdom.
Okay. Andorra.
Andorra, right. I've got my iPhone here and we're going to go through some results and the story courtesy of the internet. Juniors, honestly, I think we're going to have to do like more of an overview with our World Cup correspondent, Dave, because he's really on top of the juniors and I'm just not. I haven't watched I haven't watched the junior live feed for the last 2 races. I've been not doing my job properly, whatever, and I apologise for that.
That's okay.
Um,
It's crazy what, like, I didn't watch the race in Andorra, but what, just on my Instagram feed, like, I feel like I know everything that happened, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but then including juniors, did
not
you know Ryan
everything.
Pinkerton won? his
I did
first
know that,
junior?
and I know him because Brian Lopes is training him, which I think is really cool. Lopes is a legend, and I think it's rad. He's taken his he's kind of taken a note out of Petey's book, and he's starting to really mentor these young American kids. And when I started filming, it was like, dude, like the best American racer would get like 40th, you know what I mean? And so shout out Lopes for looking after the next generation.
Yeah, that is good actually, isn't it? Yeah.
I remember him telling me one time when I interviewed Lopes for Won't Back Down, he said one of the biggest regrets of his career is not mentoring the next generation at the same level that Steve did. And now he's coming good maybe on what he, you know, he's training the kid that won junior men's. It's sick.
Steve's crazy if you think about the list of...
Yeah, Steve's such a ledge, man.
I wonder how old he was. I mean, you might actually
I think
know.
Steve's... So I'm 38, and I'm pretty sure Steve's 10 years older than me.
Okay.
Because Steve and Sven are the same age, and Sven is 10 years older than me.
Okay.
So I think Steve's 48.
Okay, but I wonder what
Could be wrong,
age he was when he started doing the kind of helping... Who would it have been? Like Donnie?
Yeah, Donnie... What was the dude before Donnie? Rich Barlow maybe was on?
Yeah, Rich
Stu
Barlow.
Thompson was on Royal.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah. Stu Thompson, for everybody, is the owner of Cut Media and has been incredibly successful. And
That's
it's really
a big
cool
impact if you take him away. It's a huge
Dude,
impact, isn't
massive. And then after that, it was Brendan and Josh, and then Mark Beaumont was before
Mark
them.
Beaumont, yeah.
But yeah, Steve's just a passionate dude, and I think I had a executive producer on a Honda commercial I shot recently, and the agency did something that I didn't agree with, and I was like, oh, that's such a stupid decision, blah, blah, blah. And he said something that's really stuck to me, and he said, Clay, you're a really, really passionate person, but you have to realize that passion, you wouldn't want to live without passion, but it's not always easy. And that really hit home, because it's I'm almost jealous of Brandon, Bernard, and you doing these vlogs, because I look at these things and I'm just like, oh my God, they're such a just whipped together.
Bad.
Not bad. They're
bad?
if you they're bad if you look at them through the lens of how I know
Someone
they could be cut down. But they're yeah, again, like
Bad.
the vlog, they're not bad because they're not the same as the stuff that I like making. But
Yeah.
I wish that I had less of a
sex.
creative ego.
We're all masturbating together on the internet.
Yeah, and I release a movie every 5 years, so that means I get...
Ain't nothing wrong.
Yeah.
No, what's a better song for it? Maybe Al Green.
What's that one?
Just making love music.
Mm.
What would you say?
R. Kelly. No, I'm just kidding.
To the ads, quickly. Oh no, we've not got any.
Anyways,
Andorra. Nina Hoffman was dominant in Andorra.
Yeah.
I'm literally just reading from
I
the website now,
actually think,
but she
you
was.
know what's changed about the sport recently, which is really cool, is how competitive the women's field is.
Yeah.
Like in I've worked with Rach a ton, so I'm biased to, but it was like the women's for so long was like, is Rach going to get first or second? It was like maybe Sabrina Jeannier or Tracy Mosley will beat Rach, but it was like Rach could just like tumble down the hill and still get a podium. And I don't think that's the case now. And it's cool to see, like how competitive the women's field is, because it certainly wasn't always like that.
Definitely. I remember there used to be a big time difference between like the podium, or even
Exactly.
within
like,
the podium there
totally, dude.
Yeah.
And man, Rach is like winning that first race is I sent her a text, and I don't think I've ever been as happy for seeing a friend win a race as when I saw Rach win that first race. It was just like blew my mind.
Oh, it was unreal, wasn't it?
It was, and it's like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And it's cool to see how much like, I've lived in Bend, Oregon for the last 5 years, and prior to moving to Bend, I had like 15 years. I was so focused on filming and kind of ticking off goals and doing all these projects that there was like from 20 to say early 30s, I'd ride once a year, dude.
Yeah.
Didn't own a bike, didn't care about it, didn't give a shit about fucking new products, blah, blah, blah. But so now, and so when I moved up to Bend, I've been riding a ton, like pretty much every day that I'm home, I'll ride the Mount Bachelor Bike Park. And it's amazing to see how many women are riding it and how many are inspired by Rach. She really is like a legend, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's completely different if you think of
like I don't know, I almost teared up, put it that way.
Yeah.
And I never would. I had a very strong emotional attachment to seeing Rach win that race for some reason. I did not think I would care as much as I did.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
No, it was just amazing because you know as well, if you, I guess you know her super well, but I can just imagine what doubt would go through your head coming into it, and after being so successful and dominant for so long, and then coming into it is such a big deal, and almost to not do well would have been it would have been really hard, I think, for her. It's
almost like now that she's won it, it's like she's just like, what do I do now? Like, I can imagine for Rach, if she didn't win and maybe had a shit result, it would have been a lot easier to. Yeah. But now it's like she's like a victim of her own success. Rach she is a racer, dude. It's like Minnaar, you know, these racers that can just. I'm so impressed by how they can tone everything out and do their job. I wish I had that ability.
So what's the difference between a really, really good fast rider and a really, really good fast racer?
Their head. All these people that race World Cups are amazing bike riders, but it's the ones that can focus and can get the job done that, you know, I don't know.
I wonder what difference it is on track, you know? Like, what actually is the difference physically on track to having this superhuman race head? Like, how it makes, just in those I know we're talking about like the tiniest little changes. I mean, we're talking about the smallest margins, what it is that you're changing when it comes into a race run.
I think they're just they have so much, it's just experience, you know, like it's like they've taught themselves when the beeps go to elevate themselves to a new level that I don't think in any other environment they need pressure to get to that next level. G was really like that too. They would just, I learned so much working with the Athertons on how to work with athletes and seeing an athlete's process that I've been able to take to shooting athletes that are these megastar athletes. And it's, like documentary filmmaking is all about access and a subject being comfortable with you having a big camera around them. They've just, man, like Greg and Rach they need pressure to elevate themselves. And I think maybe I'm like that too. Like, I'm a classic example of like, I cannot finish something unless I have a deadline. Like, I will fight till the end of death to not release it. Like Bren with Deathgrip 2 teaser, there's 24 versions. And Bren was like the 7th version. He's like, this is the best thing ever. And I'm like, no, it's not. We can make it better. And that's a blessing and a curse, you know, like my work is never finished. Yeah. In my eyes.
Yeah.
So Andorra,
yeah. Sorry, I was off there.
Andorra, my memory of Andorra is it's obviously really unique that the pits were at the top.
Yeah, weird, eh?
Super weird. And even just like these like a World Cup racer, like Rach, like Greg, like whatever, all the top guys, they get good at what they do because they succumb to the habit of, it's all about habitual, like this is my process. Exactly. And so I can imagine if the pits are at the top, it would really throw off your process. like even just the time management thing, like holy shit, I gotta, or I guess, yeah, I don't need to take the lift to the top. So your whole
Sat there
training
ready
thing
to go.
is, yeah.
Do they have turbos in their own pits? I imagine that would be a
Yeah, for sure
benefit,
they
but
do.
maybe it wouldn't. I don't know.
They used to,
Distraction,
like,
perhaps.
Well, I know when I was working with the Athertons, they would have turbos in the pits and then also at the top. So they do their like pre-warm up, they take the lift up, and then there's their actual warm up.
I always think it's hellish, that warm up the top. It's always so ghetto, isn't it? You know.
But they're all so good that they can. It doesn't matter that it's ghetto because they've trained themselves to zone everything out.
What track would you have on in your headphones? Clay Dog's up top of Fort William, let's say.
If I was
up
a
top
World
of
Cup racer.
Andorra, he's in his pits in Andorra. He's got his headphones on.
Ooh.
What track would you have on to get you hyped for a World Cup?
Man, that's hard because I love music, dude.
Mm.
It'd probably just be whatever song I'm psyched on at that moment. I'm very guilty of like I hear
Janet
a song.
Jackson or something.
Yeah, like dude, Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation. I've always wanted to use for a dirt jump edit.
Perfect.
But I would. Yeah, I'm the wrong person to ask, dude. Like I don't.
Love to know. I'd love to know what.
It honestly would be just whatever song I'm psyched on at the moment,
Yeah.
which generally is a pretty like hype. Like I listen to music as a vehicle to use in my own work, and I cannot listen to music like my good buddy John Reynolds, who I've worked with forever, legendary cinematographer, amazing dude. He can. I'm like jealous of him because he can like sit down while he's making dinner and listen to a whole album, and he can listen to music and not immediately think of how he would use that music to heighten his work.
Yeah.
And,
super different for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've realised I'm definitely weird with music as well.
Dude.
For sure.
I did a Michelin commercial with Cam Zink, and my buddy Ross was the drone pilot. And Ross and I drove to set every day. It was like 15-minute drive to and from the hotel. And I was really I knew that right after I finished this Michelin job, I had to go home and finish the Carson Storch kind of personal project we did on his YouTube called Quarter Point. And there was a song that I really wanted to use for the credits. So I would make the drone guy, poor dude, every 3-day shoot to and back. So it's 6 15-minute drives. We listen to the same song on repeat the entire time.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I have to do it. I'm sorry. But
He's sick of it, hates it.
yeah, and he just tags me in all the.
But you end up hating the songs afterwards.
It definitely, as soon as I use a song in a project, it's like dead to me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
In the best way though, because I've in my just mind, it's like I've rinsed that song for its kind of creative potential, and now it's on to another song.
Yep, I hear you. Right, back to the race. Valli Holl came in second. I actually don't know. We need someone to clear up what that does to the overall.
Well, I know I saw Valli still leading.
Yeah.
Valli.
Nina was close, even though this was her first win of the season.
Oh, in the points?
I think she was or closest. Maybe not.
Valli Holl's probably
Cammy's
one of my favorite racers right now.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't think she's like, it was almost like I worked with Emil Johansson last year for the first time. And I wouldn't say I was like nervous to meet him, but I was definitely like, I guess I was a little nervous to meet him, you know? And I have that same feeling like the couple times I've chatted with Valli Holl. I'm like, she's going to change the sport. And I think she's doing amazing things for not just women's riding, for everybody.
Yeah.
Valli Holl is sick. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah,
I cannot,
absolutely.
we haven't shot, she's going to be in Deathgrip too, and that's one of the sections that we haven't shot yet. And to be honest, that's probably the one that I'm looking the most forward to, in that like.
Is this an announcement?
Well, she was in the teaser. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but
she was.
There's
no announcement yet though, eh?
Well, my whole thing was like, announcements and press releases are like, that's like what you did 10 years ago.
Yeah, okay, fair enough, yeah.
It's like, dude, just make the raddest fucking thing you can and release that and let that do all the talking. Like,
you know,
press releases, like, it's just like, dude, that's lame, dude. That's like, it's just old school.
I've realised I've actually confused myself because of that clip of the presenter getting it wrong. I've confused myself with the title race because of the information.
Yeah, that was...
It was bad, but Cammie's in second in the overall and Nina's in third. So
it.
that's where we're at. Coming into this race, I don't know, but
that was
confused me too.
That was unfortunate for the fact that everybody makes mistakes, and if you're like doing live, I've learned a bit about live production just working on Rampage.
Yeah.
And it is an entirely, you talk about like vlogs and Deathgrip 2 being opposite ends of the spectrum. Then you have live TV like way over here. That's like, so like mistakes happen in live TV where I wasn't frustrated that she called Tahnee Seagrave Nina Hoffman. I was frustrated at the fact that the comment was Nina Hoffman will leave with the rainbow stripes, which clearly means that she doesn't understand the difference in this sport, that World Champs is a one-off race separate to the World Cup Series. And that's what bothered me about that mistake.
Yeah, I hear
Not messing up somebody's name. Mistakes happen, but like you can't be involved in the live production of a sport and make mistakes on how it'd be like in a basketball game being like, oh, they did a layup and it was a 3-pointer. Like, give me a break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's so, but I mean, everybody makes mistakes and live TV is hard. And I really do think, like, I see all the comments on Pink Bike, like, oh, the Discovery stuff is, you know, they're doing a bad job, blah, blah, blah. They don't want to pay for it. But you got to understand, like, 2006, when I first went to the races, like I would have given anything to pay $50 to have all the races live, you know? And I think this sport is very fortunate in how well the live production has been overall if you compare it to other sports. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually don't, I almost only know this sport and basketball. I don't really follow much else, you know, so I kind of don't feel like I can talk on it almost because I'm not aware of
totally. And I'm like
the race series,
you know like,
what I mean?
And I don't almost feel like I'm qualified to talk about it just because I'm not there, but it's you need to have people that are representing the sport from a live aspect understand how the sport is run. Like, fair enough if you mess up somebody's name, but you can't, you know, and it's an easy mistake. Everybody does it when they get into the sport. They go, okay, you win the world championship or you win the World Cup Series, you're a world champion.
But
like
this
that's
is
how it
what,
is in
this
every
is
other
what
sport.
annoys me, right?
It makes sense, but it's also just like evidence of them not doing their homework, which I find frustrating because I deeply, deeply care about mountain biking and mountain bike racing.
Agreed.
Too much, dude.
Agreed. We're talking about a negative though, and we're talking more about it than the fact that actually Tahnee came third, and it's like
which was sick.
Yeah, which is really sick. But do you know what I mean? Instantly, you go to the negative.
I know.
No, but everyone's guilty of it. Like the fact that I've watched that clip and it's logged in my mind. It should be more important that Tahnee came third. That's what I think is like. It's annoying being a human that you're like, you only have to watch the news. Everything's not like, it's all like this
it's
is way down,
easier
this guy's died, this country's
for sure.
fucked.
And it's like I see it in production when I've starting to get more involved in bigger commercials and stuff. And there's the people that are involved in production that present solutions, and there's the people involved in production that only present problems. And I really have an issue with people that only point out problems but don't offer a solution. But again, it's like point. I know it sucks that you got to pay now to watch the race, but like
you can pay to watch the race.
The fact that you can pay to watch a race is mind-blowing to me, coming from a generation where you had to like, you know, wait till Earth came out or Dirt came out and stuff. And it's like I've seen this sport go from this weird, just it didn't have a home. It wasn't X Games. It wasn't road cycling. It was this weird thing that they didn't know if they wanted to be baggy clothes, Sean Palmer X Games, or they didn't know if they wanted to be road cyclists, you know, and it was kind of, and now it's like, it's its own thing. And it's amazing to me. It's I don't know. I've seen the sport go from nothing to like I live in Bend, Oregon. I'm really good friends with Carson Storch. All of Carson's friends are pro snowboarders, and they all watch the World Cup live feed, which if you would have told me a pro snowboarder would be interested in World Cup racing in 2006, I would have told you are crazy.
Yeah. Do you know who else has seen the sport from 2006 and earlier and is still here, and he's on the podium? See how I did that? I was pretty good. We're on to the men's podium, and I'm going straight into second place because I'm hyped.
I know.
And I'm sure you've got loads to. I just get like a warm feeling when certain names are on the podium.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like comfortable. The GOAT's back.
It's incredible. I when he won Val d'Isole Worlds, 2001, I believe it was. I remember that's again like one of these results, kind of like Rach winning the first race this year. Well, I remember exactly where and when I was when I saw on my phone that I just got the UCI media email of the results, and I clicked on it. I was in bed, right? I'm at home, and Greg Minnaar was first, and I was literally, I could not believe it. Greg's insane. I remember in 2000, here's a crazy story for you guys. So 2010, season 2 of the Atherton project, and also the main year that 3-minute gaps was about, right? And so I'm working on the Atherton project, and the Atherton project is allowing me to get to the races to then also make 3-minute gaps, right? And the only time I've ever cried after filming for making a mistake was the 2010 Fort William World Cup. And Greg is obviously the winningest rider at Fort William. And G came down, goes in the hot seat, and Greg was left to go. And I didn't move from where I was to go. I wish I'd gone to the finish to film G winning the race, but I thought there's no way in hell that G can beat Greg. And so I stayed at my spot, and then G won, and I missed all the reaction of G winning. And that's why in 3-minute gaps, if that section, it cuts to Grant Robinson's photo of G winning, because I was literally up on the hill because I thought Greg would win. I basically prioritized getting an action clip of Greg because I thought, yeah, G's going to get second and whatever. And and then I was so bummed, and I got to the pits and just like, just started like bawling my eyes out in the pits.
No way.
It's crazy. And Sven had to come over to me and give me sunglasses because I was crying, and it's still kind of like, I just felt like I had let down my friend G, and I had let down the Athertons, and I had let down 3-minute gaps. But again, documentary filmmaking it's all about where you are.
Yeah.
Right. And like, it was a big learning curve. Like, always chase story. Story will always trump an action shot.
I mean, in terms of a story, how hard is it to retire if you're still pulling out results like that? Like, I think it's so hard.
Well, yeah,
Retiring
I think
on
that's
top has got to be the hardest
G and Rach where Greg and Rach are probably at, is they've had this amazing, successful career, but they keep pulling out these results. And I can imagine if I was either of them, I'd be like, it would almost be easier to like, now they have to continually make this decision of like, well, I'm still on the podium, like I should still keep going. Like,
Greg's not going to be like, second will do. It's not like, I don't know. I just think it's impossible. It's impossible any way you look at it, it's impossible. If you fade out, it's impossible.
Yeah.
To be someone who's dominant and they fade out. It's impossible to quit when you're on top. It's like, what is the way to do it?
Yeah. And I don't think there's ever going to be like a right answer to that, you know?
No, absolutely. Right, so I'm all over the place here. Finn wrapped up the top 3 races, which I think changed.
And he's leading the overall.
Yeah, I think that changed. I think Jackson was in the leader's jersey coming in.
Okay, yeah.
And I think it changed, and obviously Jackson got a puncture, there was an amazing... I was wrong about the puncture was up top. And then there's another shot of him casing a stump that was on that run.
I didn't see that.
It was like caused by the rear puncture. But.
I was really stoked to see Finn in the leader's jersey because Finn's I've done this time a year ago I had never met Finn.
Yeah.
And I've since done 3 projects with him. One was a specialized ad, which I'm not sure if it's out yet. That was pretty just, that was like, I just got hired for 2 days to shoot some action stuff. One is this incredible project I did with Rupert Walker and Finn, and we got budget to hire Seminux build team to do this crazy build with Finn and Sun Peaks. I'm not sure when that's coming out, but hopefully soon. And then I did this thing with Finn when I was in New Zealand after we shot for Deathgrip, which is this new series that Red Bull Canada is doing. These are all Roops projects that I'm just second camera on, I suppose. But we shot Finn for 2 days on that Coronet Peak track in New Zealand. And I am so frothing for that edit to come out, because it was like shooting Finn in mid-March, and I have never seen, it's crazy when you shoot World Cup athletes right before the season starts.
Yeah.
They're generally pretty apprehensive to do it, but when you can get them to do it, the level of riding is insane compared to if you shoot them in September after the race.
It's wild, isn't it? Because
this Finn footage is mind-blowing, dude.
It goes more to what you're saying about it being in someone's mind, but I've seen it every year when it comes into the season. My friends ramp up.
Yeah.
It becomes...
Even Emery, when we shot him for, I think that was February, we did the Emery section in South Africa for Deathgrip 2.
Yeah.
And it tripped me out because I got to see Emery and Finn within like less than a month apart from each other. And I was just like, oh my God, they're going to go 1-2. And, you know, but yeah, Finn's really cool, dude. It trips me out. Finn told me the first mountain bike film he ever saw was The Tipping Point, which is the World Cup film that I did about the 2008 season. And it's crazy to think that the first, I'm like, dude, you got to get Earth, bro. It's way sicker. But yeah, it's been cool getting to know Finn and just seeing his, he's from the generation that really respects filmmaking maybe more than Greg and Rach, you know, which that's why they're so good. If I'm like, let's go film, they're like, no, I got to train. You know what I mean? But Finn's, I find the younger kids are way more stoked on filming just because it's been so much a part of their like ecosystem as an athlete from the start.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a huge Finn fan, and it's been really a treat to kind of work with him.
Yeah. So last but by no means least, the top step, Deprella.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen some of him crossing the line? Like he's like,
oh, it's the most passionate dude ever.
So cool, isn't it?
I've never met Deprella, and but it's amazing seeing his passion for the sport when he crosses the line. It's like just pure emotion coming out, and you see his eyes, and they're just like, how wide are they?
Looking
and it's like he's just like robbed a bank or something when he crosses the finish line.
Imagine crossing the line. Your title sponsor is basically and Andorra's not a big place.
Well, dude, my first experience in Andorra, the first time they ever had a World Cup there, was in 2008 when I was working, or no, it was just before I was working with the Athertons. But at that point I was really tight with them. And but anyways, they were riding for Coleman Saul. Dan won the 4-cross, then Rach won the women's, and then G won the men's in Andorra. That was actually that was pretty up there with I just couldn't believe it happened. You know, I don't think they could either, but it was.
Imagine the meal with the boss.
Yeah.
So good. There's got to be an extra. I know it's just all about the race and everything, but there has to be this extra weight or extra.
Oh, for sure, dude. It's like when clients, the difference of, as much as I like doing shoots where the client isn't around, I also like doing shoots where I've grown to like dragging the client around the woods and seeing us work, because
the
they
actual
understand,
value, seeing it in
they
your hometown,
see the process of how hard it is to actually make engaging content, you know?
And just think that it's like, that's in the hometown. It's like, they live there. So then they see the World Cup circus rolls in, and all of a sudden, like, they see how big, not that anyone who works at Common Sale doesn't understand this, but
totally
still when it's in front of you, it's a different thing, isn't it? So they see how big it is. They see the weight of it, makes all of it like so heightened, I feel like.
100%. just talking about Commensal as a brand, I really have a lot of respect for what they've done in terms of hiring talented full-time filmmakers. Like their content output right now is the best.
Yeah.
Hands down. And it's
seem to care about paying for music either.
Yeah, I think maybe that's an Andorran thing. I don't really understand how
I don't know either.
I don't.
Jealous.
Yeah, me too, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of money over the years paying for music in films that I probably shouldn't have, and I would have a lot more money if I didn't do that.
Move to Andorra. I think we're making this up. This is like a conspiracy that we're just starting here. Like,
but and I've also like, it's not like every time there was definitely some years where my music clearance was a little sketchy. Yeah. But it's honestly dude, like tipping point, I probably spent 40 grand on the music, and I didn't know what a budget was back then. It was just like Sam Hill wants Rob Zombie. I have to get Rob Zombie because that's what Sam wants, and it's Sam fucking Hill.
Right.
That's the other thing too, not to get into this like, oh, this is what I've learned as being a filmmaker, but you have to, as soon as you don't respect the athlete and what they're doing and riding at a level that they could get seriously hurt, like you can't be bummed at an athlete being unorganized and tough to lock down and blah, 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 because they're the ones that are risking it all for you, And as soon as you go into a shoot thinking you're above an athlete's willingness to perform, basically, like you're fucked.
Yeah.
So always step one's being a nice person to work with, and step two is always respecting the talent that's in front of your lens and respecting that you have a certain amount of time to gather as much content as you possibly can. And as soon as the athlete can see you're respecting their time and willing to just basically stack as many bangers as you possibly can, the shoot will go great. As soon as you get complacent and don't respect the talent, it goes downhill so quick, no matter how talented you are.
Yeah. I hear you. So the overalls, I'm going to go through the overall standings after this round, because they've changed.
There's 4 more rounds to go. Is that correct? Ludenville, Leger, 3 more. 4. What's the finals this year? Or no, snowshoe. Sorry.
Yeah.
Snowshoe.
So it's 4.
Cool.
5th, Loic Bruni came down in 22nd in awful weather, which is like a standout.
That's okay. There's been a lot of World Cup series where the overall winner has had a shocker of a race.
Yeah.
And if Loic
I think it was good damage limitation. I don't think anyone was coming down.
Into killed it,
highest places, yeah.
And it sucks. I feel for Loic, but it's also like the classic saying, that's racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have the points here, so I don't know how close all of this is, but anyway. 4th, Vergier, Deprella in 3rd, Goldstone in 2nd, and Finn in 1st. So that's the overalls now. We'll go into more detail on those when we
The other thing is amazing.
You
talk about like how the sport has progressed is kind of like the comment I said about how competitive the women's field is. Yeah. Same for the men's, dude. Back in the day, it was like, Sam will win. Greg's the kind of only dude that can probably beat Sam, and Steve's going to be 3rd, and Rennie will be in the mix, probably Fabian Burrell will be in the mix, but you knew that like it would be a shocker of a race if either Sam or Greg didn't win. Dude, back in the day, man, I used to be able to like on practice cut media before that, when it was MTB Cut, and Lawler did a DVD for them in 2008, I believe. Lawler and I, really good buddies. We always used to walk the track together and kind of just hang out together. But he filmed me like during practice, like who's going to win the race. And I correctly, in the order, said the top 5. Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't think you could do that this year.
Are you willing to give it a go?
I'm not. I'm not trackside for. I wouldn't be able to do it now, right?
maybe on the fantasy league if there was a
maybe
good enough fantasy.
The other
league,
crazy.
maybe you
This
could
is
give it a
just
go.
like exceptionally nerdy. Like I'm like, oh my god, this is like borderline like a mental health problem I have. But it was. I used to be able to. So Fort William, when you're like a little bit down the track, you look up and there's that section where they go across a bridge. Right? That's always been there at Fort William. And I used to be able to, like, beginning of day one practice, it'd be like 10:30 in the morning. So for whatever reason, that is backlit, right? So the riders going across the bridge are more or less fully silhouetted. And like Sven and I just bored on the side of the hill. I used to be able to like call out who the silhouetted rider
I like
was.
that.
Freaky obsession with this sport.
It's good. It's good. Do you know who else is obsessed? Is our World Cup correspondent, Dave Vallerin. He's actually done some serious journalism here on another topic on my list here that we have to talk about that sort of not blew up a bit, but was one that we were going to comment on, was the Brayton chat about points. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not good at knowing about that stuff, obviously.
Totally.
But it's something that came to everyone's attention.
I saw it. I remember I screenshotted it because I was like, whoa, this is really interesting.
And a lot of people putting on their stories and stuff.
Totally.
And Dave actually reached out to Brayton and got him to like comment on it basically and like clear it up from his perspective. So he basically found out the points he scored in semi-finals don't count towards the 40 minimum points you need to enter a World Cup if you're not on a team. So if you think about semis, but basically it's cutting it down to 30 rather than 60. So it means even if you're like top 40 in the world, you don't necessarily have points. I think that's what it would say. Even if if you're 31st, you're not getting points.
Yeah, I don't
semis.
I don't know the actual like what. But basically, Bren and I were talking about it over the last couple of days, and I guess because Brayton's not on a trade team, he doesn't have access to be able to like slide by that rule. I think that rule sucks.
Yeah, it chokes.
I think that rule is incredibly whack to progress the sport. It creates a hierarchy, basically all around money. Do
you know what Adam said? This is his words. I think it's really good. He says it literally makes semi-finals pointless.
No pun intended.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's good. I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah, me too. Brayton's like I don't even know if I've ever chatted with him or anything, but he's one of those dudes where he's definitely on my list to like before I die, I gotta work with him on something.
Yeah, I remember
Rankin seeing him.
Finn,
for sure.
Yeah.
And even like I remember Vigo 07. It was the first World Cup race that year. I was walking down the track and I can remember exactly where I was when I saw Adam Brayton ride for the first time. And I asked Victor Lucas, who is that dude that just rode by? And he's like, oh, this Adam Brayton kid. And and then I don't know. Sicko,
I really like his
really
vlogs. Really good.
Yeah, right. Gas to flat or whatever they are.
Yeah, really. He's just a fun guy. I really enjoy.
Yeah.
I really enjoy
Brayton,
watching him. Yeah.
Call me brother. Let's fucking film some shit.
So I think basically it's just a communication thing from the UCI that they haven't like communicated the fact that the points in semis don't count.
And so did like he basically Brayton just didn't read the rule book correctly, or
he says at the end of the day, this is his official statement. At the end of the day, this falls on me. I should have checked my points after those World Cups, and I'd seen they hadn't been added. But these points would have counted last year for said results. I had no reason to check. Pretty much every pro has messaged me saying they didn't know the points had changed either. So it is just a communication thing, and but also it is a shit rule.
Because, that rule sucks, man.
Yeah.
It's so detrimental to the progression of the sport in that like they're making it harder to they're making it harder for the people that it's just all around money and who has a trade team. It's whack, man. That rule sucks.
Yeah, he says I've learned two things: semi points are pointless, and I need to go on the points chase. So that's like when you go to like strange races outside the World Cup season.
Like when Ben Baker went to Bulgaria back in the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like with all the spare time.
And that's also whack too, because it's like you're very limited to like some countries have more options to have racers, and what if you're a racer from Rwanda, right? Like, what are you going to do, man?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I hate this. Like, there's comments on it, rich man's game, in it,
But
from Craig, and you just think, oh, it sucks. That's not what mountain biking really. I didn't really feel that way growing up. Maybe because I never tried to race at a high level, but I didn't feel like it was like that motorsport rich game.
But you can't want the sport to progress without money.
What else? How else can the sport progress, Clay? I know you have some views on this. I'd love to give you the opportunity to.
So,
what does the sport need? What would you say? What's it lacking at this point right now?
So I can obviously only speak to like the material for me as a storyteller needed to make more engaging stories for a mainstream audience. And obviously the Drive to Survive show on Netflix is brilliant, and it's completely changed F1. It's completely changed sports documentaries, you know? And I've definitely, you know, like, I'm a fan of storytelling, and I love studying it and figuring out, like working backwards. Why was this scene so engaging, right? And so I've watched Drive to Survive. I've watched Full Swing. I've watched the tennis show. I've watched the surf one on Apple TV Plus is really good. It's all this production company from London, Box to Box Films. And I've definitely, like, as soon as the F1 series came out and it became popular, I would literally maybe every week get a call or an email from somebody in the industry that's like, Clay, I got an idea. I'm like, okay, cool. What's your idea? And it's like, Drive to Survive, but for mountain biking. And I'm just like, well, that's what I've been trying to do my whole life. Like, Of course I want to do that. But the thing in my opinion, why Drive to Survive is so successful to I don't care about F1. I don't like, you know, is that they have communication from the team to the athlete.
Okay.
And therefore the storytellers behind that show have all this material of it now becomes a team sport, right?
Yeah.
And so in my opinion, for World Cup mountain biking to get to the next level, like a Drive to Survive show, there needs to be communication from team managers to the racers as they're racing, and the Box to Box Films, whatever, needs access to that, right? And I personally don't think that's the thing that's limiting the sport to getting to the next level, is there's no communication from, like, I want to be able to, as a storyteller, hear what the team manager would say, like, pedal harder, Loic, blah, 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 you got this.
Yeah,
like, if I have access to all that, and I'm pretty sure that's illegal, right, in the sport.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Again, in my opinion, to elevate the sport to the next level, that needs to be allowed, because that will provide storytellers more opportunity to tell more engaging, real stories.
It's a fascinating thought.
Really hard to, and if you look at, say, Drive to Survive, incredibly successful. The tennis show, still really well done. The surf one, still really well done. The tennis one, still really well done. They're nowhere near as successful as Drive to Survive. And the one thing that those shows don't have that Drive to Survive has is communication from the pits to the athlete. And so that's, and you know, going back to like we want to do Drive to Survive at World Cup mountain biking, like, hit me up. That's my dream. I've been working my entire life to try and do something like that. I'm ready for it. I want to make something on Netflix that's like Drive to Survive for World Cup mountain biking. And it's like, I'm the dude to do it. I want to do it. And, but for me to do it, how I know it can be done, it needs audio dialogue, right? Of team to rider. Rider has an earpiece, and we need access to all of that.
Already, the sport's changed so much. There's like 12 people spotting lines now in a team.
Totally.
Like, that wasn't the case before, and like, it's already changed so much. So I can see how that would be a change that would work.
Yeah, like, and okay, here's another example of why I feel really strongly about in order for the sport to grow, it needs communication from the pits to the athlete during the race. And the other example I have of that is the really brilliant, also done by Box to Box Films, the Tour de France documentary, Unchained or something like that. And that has obviously in road cycling, there's communication from the chase vehicle or whatever it's called to the cyclist. And that show and the Drive to Survive show, that is the nucleus of the power of those shows, is the communication between the two. Without that, you're just left with hoping you're at the right place in the right time and hoping you have enough talking head interviews to support that. But when you have the communication, you can really take out the talking heads, and then the audience goes, holy shit, this is the most real, authentic stuff ever. Like, talking heads are like kind of like storytelling poison in a way. It's someone retroactively trying to remember how they felt on a day. The audience is all like, visual evidence in documentary filmmaking is always going to trump somebody retroactively trying to remember how they felt.
Does it have to be the rider, or could it be from the manager? Because I also think
it definitely could be from the manager, and that's another thing why, like, you know, people are like, oh, you should do 3-minute gaps too, and I'm like, please, I'd love to, but I'm not gonna do it. 3-minute gaps was the max one human. I had John Lawler helping me out a ton, and I had John Reynolds helping me out a ton, but it needs that communication. And like, back in the day, even before I kind of had this epiphany that that's why Drive to Survive is so successful, my whole goal, say if I was able to get the budget to have multiple cameras, it's not going to be to have all the cameras on the hill. It's going to be, dude, Dan Brown is mic'd up during Rach's race run, and you are filming Dan Brown only. And if you fucking film anything else, put the camera back on Dan Brown. That's where the emotion is. That's what Drive to Survive does so well. That's what the Tour de France documentary does so well. Is it's they've turned these individual sports into these team sports, and that's where downhill is right now. It's not like, you know, 2005 when Sam's in Europe, he's pitting out of the SRAM pits. It's proper. There's a you know, the amount of full-time people that the Athertons employ these days has got to be insane, and those are the people that I think, if you tell their stories, can relate more to a mainstream audience. It's like, every sport has a documentary where it follows the top athlete, and it's like, will they win the race or will they not? And that stuff's great and stuff, but in order to take the storytelling to the next level, you have to make the people behind the scenes just as much a part of the main story. Like in Drive to Survive, my favorite character on that is the Gunther dude who manages the Haas team, right? He is the best character on that show, hands down. The second best character is Christian Horner, the Red Bull TM. And those guys make the show what it is. It's not, you know, Lewis Hamilton driving it. That's boring, dude. It's just a dude driving a car, right? And so again, it's
I'll make it happen.
Yeah, I need to send an email to Box Films and be like, here's 3-minute gaps 10 years ago. I did it all on my own. I want to do this sport, but with your guys' production knowledge, and I think it'd be really engaging. And I think for the audience, it's like, mountain biking's in a cool spot where it's getting bigger, but it's obviously not at F1 or not at, you know, professional surfing, I don't know, whatever, all these other ones. And it's like, there's an opportunity within mountain biking to tell a sporting story that still feels like a giant traveling circus that's not so big that there isn't that, you know, downhill's amazing because these guys are super competitive, but like back in the day, like Greg would come over to the Coleman Salt Pits and Greg and G would have a beer together. That doesn't happen in other sports, you know?
Yeah.
And those type of moments are what the average person can really relate to. It's hard being an average person relating to the best athlete in the world, right? Yeah. But you can relate to the people that assist the athletes, in my opinion, way more than the actual athlete. Yeah. And in my opinion, the Drive to Survive show is that's the brilliance of it, dude.
Well, dude, I love your passion, and I'm watching it. I'm tuning in, and hopefully in your email you can attach this clip, this podcast, and it comes across, because it'd be the dream for it to happen.
And I like want it. I'm at a point in my career where I feel like I'm lazy right now. Like Deathgrip 2, it's really fun to make. I get to hang out with my best friends and make amazing stuff, but it's still pretty images set to music with drums in it, you know? And it's like, I feel like as a storyteller, I'm getting complacent chasing better focus pulls. Like, fuck focus pulls, man. It's all about it's all about filming real emotion, you know? And I feel like as a storyteller, I'm finally ready to make the project around World Cup downhill that I've always wanted to make. But it's taken me 20 years to learn all this stuff, you know? And it's one more thing. It's super interesting. During lockdown, so prior to 2008, I shot everything on tape, right? It wasn't on memory cards, right? So I have just probably 1,000 mini DV tapes from over the years. And so I bought the like mini DV tape deck that you need to digitize that stuff. And I'd just be bored during lockdown. I'd grab, you know, 07 Schladming, Sam Hill. That'll be a fun tape to watch. And I'll watch it. And I filmed Sam in his element, but and he's such a funny dude and all this stuff. And I filmed all that stuff. And again, Sam gave me the access, but I wasn't mature enough as a storyteller to realize that's the goal. That's the gold. That's what I meant to say. And not Sam doing the sickest whip in practice.
Yeah.
You know? And so, yeah, I want to make a project with Box to Box Films around World Cup series. And until, I don't know, that's the goal. Like, honestly, I finished Deathgrip 2 and I want to get back into the World Cup scene, and I want to make the project that I've always had in my head. And I've only feel like now I've learned enough to even do it.
Hyped. Is that an exclusive or what? Can we say it's an exclusive?
I mean, I haven't really said that. Yeah, why not?
We claim it's an exclusive. Thanks for joining us, Clay. I'm not sure either of us did a very good job of actually covering Andorra, but it was a fantastic race all the same.
Yeah.
And, I did actually watch the race despite not seemingly knowing anything about it. But I've enjoyed sitting down with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Peace
bro.
and love, like and subscribe. You the man. Oh, I feel a bit deflated now. I feel like it's all coming to an end. This episode's finishing. No?
No. People can watch another clip if they want. It's down there.
That easy?
Down here. Somewhere. Yeah. They can subscribe up there.
Is it that easy? Yeah.
Yeah. They can follow us on Instagram at The Ride Companion.
That's true.
They can follow you personally at @OW_23.
Yeah.
They can check out the website.
Oh, it'd be nice if they did, actually.
You can sign up to the mailing list.
So what you're saying is it just continues?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. So the podcast just continues into real life?
Yeah. We just integrate it into the real life.
I've had an idea, actually.
What?
We could continue it into real life even more.
Ooh.
In Mexico. Am I right?
Oh, mate. If you want to come on holiday with us, we're going to eat tacos, ride bikes in Oaxaca in December. Then head to the website to find out more information, or in the show description, there is more details.
Man, does that sound good.
Arriba.
That's it. That's your Spanish.
See.
Oh!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe.
Peace.